seconds to see if that's the case, but as round one gets underway, ACEND actually going to lean 3 towards B long here. Look for some early control once again. A couple of members of NIP here to greet it, but the spike and 3 members of NIP in total actually over towards A, so be able to pivot off this pressure immediately.
Putting it this way, in the last 90 days, he has not played Jet. Prior to that, there is a little bit of Jet play in there. So, it's not the first, but it ain't been recent. So, take it how you want from that, and I'm sure you can find the deeper context. I just look at the stats and go, ah, yes, I'll pretend I have a point to be made off the back of it, don't worry. But what I do see is a side take for now, or at least a slow build towards it. Now, they backed away. NIP going on the old long way around here. And heading back over towards B. So far, so good. Contacts to be made now. It's CNED who's probably going to get the first peek. And yeah, at the moment, just kind of a couple of cautionary shots coming through. None quite.
Okay.
Help. Help, I've seen something I shouldn't have. That was disgusting. It is a 1-for-1 trade out eventually, but a 4v4, and look at this angle for Stark, so it could have been big, but now it just kind of creates this brawl scenario. And Existence, aka Kukos, gonna be trying to get that heal up, get everyone ready to rock and roll, try and get the rest of this done. Spike's still not planted.
Yeah, 13 seconds left. CNED's got to be dug out of this position on Stark. Actually going to swing all the way onto it. A 2-for-2 trade, but Bone Cold, now the last man standing. Korea will clean it up, and well, finally, after it doesn't matter, we'll get the spike down. But, yeah, a little bit of a weird round. NIP, I mean, responding fantastically, swinging back over towards B there, but unable to really get a firm grasp on site control.
JD on the Jet. I want to see this, man.
Right here.
Like this.
I mean, he's looked fantastic individually. He has, so I kind of like the switch.
I get it. Like Rainers or Jets, man. If you got someone who's you know packs a punch, get him on it. Now this round is only working with the old Ghost. Chihuahua's found Bone Cold to begin with, and the round should go NIP's way, if as to tradition, unless they make a couple of key errors. Doubt it, but let's keep our eyes on. Already Chihuahua taking a good chunk of space, just kind of go and walk about by B. Better not overextend, because there are players here. But no, takes it in his stride, and comfortably will take B, and you can see the spike's already on the way.
Chihuahua finding loads of value, 2 kills actually, and look how far he's got already. Last 3 members of ACEND got to creep their way through. Prime actually ready with the recon, but actually messes up a little bit. Don't ping out just how close these players are. Stars are going to hop up, but greeted by the Spectre, traded out by Coldamenta, but again, this is all going on so far away from the site. There's no real chance for them to recover this, but maybe do some more damage. Kukos to clean up one more. CNED last man standing with a Sheriff, and Jet will close that one out. So NIP off to a good start here, and that's ultimately, you know, the biggest win condition for me is NIP having a successful attacking half, because like I said, ACEND ones that actually, I think they will lean a little heavier here, knowing that NIP aren't very proactive on the defense. I mean, we could see a complete switch up, right? With this Jet pick, it might completely flip the script on, you know, expectations defensively for NIP.
It could. I mean, it definitely changes the concept, but we have to see, how, obviously, in actuality, how it looks. I like these kind of fakes they've been throwing in there. They've shown intent towards A and then kind of done that late lean towards B off the back of some nice individual progress made by, you know, be it Chihuahua or whomever else. But now that will be Bone Cold's task to try and keep that B long take under wraps. Now, again, this will be ACEND on the better purchase, so keep that in mind. It's not a drastic change up. No. We do have 2 rifles. Chihuahua and Kriya will still be very much within touching distance of this.
I'm actually going to lean a little towards A at the early round, but here JD's already making progress down, and the hold from ACEND on B actually pretty deep. Bone Cold pulling away from going towards yellow. Now with no presence, you're going to see that rotation come out. Bone Cold now going to pick up that deep angle, and Starzo considering move over. Seeker's invested over on A though, so open to see an early rotation come out. Nobody give away too much early on this hit.
I like the Seekers to try and get you that gateway towards the site even late on a site take 30 seconds. CNED is alive barely, 2 HP is all he's got. Gets healed up, back in the action now, not a great deal, still a little rough around the edges, and NIP are on the site. Holding close angles, they have those SMGs, they want these close quarters combat scenarios, and CNED wins his. Rhyme goes down, the 2 rifles though, that's Korea and Chihuahua. Keep that in mind, if they still stand, there's still danger. Bone Cold, caught unawares, lovely off angle up top there, and CNED tries to turn around, tries to turret this out, but it is just Cold Amenta now. And we know what it's like. Vipers, post plants. It ain't pretty. Do as much as you want here. Hissing away like a creeper in Minecraft. But look at the damage Cold Amenta's on today, but it does not matter. Freya shuts it down, and NIP win a big round. That's the bonus. And they managed to convert.
Yeah, and it's almost there. You know, the 4 kills seemingly do no dent to the economy. We got Isaac here. They come back into this with a very comfortable purchase once again. Cold Amenta makes it as costly as possible for them. Look at it now. Ultimate progress looking really good. Akukos back to 50% progress, and the Seekers were thrown down in that previous round. So, a testament really to how well that round went for NIP in the grand scheme of things. Bladestorm popped immediately. Sure, actually, who that was. JD and CNED both have it available.
Enemy tank.
Look how deep JD's holding.
Man's playing Spawn.
Anticipating that aggression. This is something we talk about repeatedly with ACEND.
Here.
Especially in a round like this. This would be the prime time for them to start doing this kind of more aggressive lean. I like the use of the ultimate to clear the site, and I quite like early uses of ultimates. Yeah, it's against a weakened buy, but I'd rather you try and be safe about it. If there is a stack going on, just try and take your time. And I think we found our answer. There's 2 who's got the old knives out. That will be CNED. See how that goes for him. Already quite well. JD. Gonna lose life for it. Free little haircut. It is hard to get to the hairdressers these days. But a Kukos from down below. Lovely work from just below the rafters. Staying alive. There is still threats. It is still a 3v3. If CNED keeps going, there is plenty of potential for problems here. 30 seconds on the board and Spike's not down.
I didn't even realize the spike hadn't been planted yet, as it finally will. Kukos gonna find another. Oh, Cold Amenta did land the first shot there with the Marshall, but all is up, and a Kukos back on the Seekers now. So 3 ultimates available for NIP there, and again, right there, I think the fact that NIP are waiting that out for so long is they're anticipating this hit coming in. They know that ACEND like to play very fast and loose, especially in retake scenarios. So, I mean, what, they're on site for almost 30 to 40 seconds there without a plant coming through, and that's after the Killjoy ultimates invested. The lockdown clears all that space for them.
CNED on the op. Let's see how this goes. This has been the gateway for them changing the way maps can look. A tall task, but I like the double stack here from ACEND. That's a little different, actually. We haven't seen them do this yet. And Rhyme, early on the ult pop as well, trying to get this starting pick. Did he get the tag off that? Close. Darkso a little worse for wear, but does get the heal off. He'll be back up to 100.
Well, just as a note, NIP have done what they couldn't do last time, and they found an attacking round and make that 4.
Very true.
Poison's off.
Already this agent composition paying dividends for them if they can continue this. But for me, it relies on them having a strong attack inside. Korea creeps through. Starzo will fall in kitchen, and Seekers once again invested. Keeler's got to back away from this now. He's the last man standing on B, but the pinch is coming through here. Not going to find anything before he falls.
5v3 now.
Spike planted.
Bone Cold just about getting into this. CNED still there. Not easy to bring this up in, considering some of these angles are quite tucked in. Tricky to clear safely, and you can see what they'd be up against. You got a Kukos, you got Kriya there. It's not nice. Bone Cold can offer himself up as the first step forward, but he does lose his life for it, so now CNED might be tasked with just trying to keep that up. Back away. Now let's talk about what's working here for NIP, because this is a big performance so far. Now, if he manages to keep the up, that's something else, but he's going to be closed in on. They have a really good economy after winning the bonus round as well. That's not so subtle. And There is no time. So I did for a second I had to just, you know, hush my voice. Listen out. Round is theirs. So let's talk about what's working for NIP Hypoc. What is a highlight to you about how they're approaching this in comparison to what we expected, at least?
Well, I think initially they're able to control this early round aggression from ACEND. ACEND not really being given an opening to do what they like to do, right? And that really comes back to the default from NIP here. The fact that they're able to switch this up, anticipating where CNED's going to be playing, because he's always the front man. He's always the front man for this early round aggression. Second, really, for that would have been Starzo on the Sky, right? But here we have him on the Sage. It's a lot more difficult with this composition for ACEND to really, I guess, punish those openings, right? So initially, NIP with a perfect response. If we consider how this matchup went last time, this is ticking all the boxes for me.
Now, this is the impressive part about NIP, is that they have this capability, right? Like, this is why everyone waits with bated breath for this team, because obviously, like, yes, the big name is a Kukos coming in existence, sure, but if you were watching the earlier time, you know, the Party Parrot days, whichever way you want to cut it... Wait, did you just bonk his head on the outro? Again, there were some big names in this. Some of the really impressed early Chihuahua commits to the spray, and now does Coldham enter. The op is still out for CNED. The rest, though, on pistols and an SMG, so this should be a clean round. And the op is in middle, so they can take this B side. There is a Killjoy there, but here comes the flash, and I'm sure a swing to follow. There it is. Killers, not bad on one. Falls away, does some good damage doing that. Not bad.
Yeah, one away from the lockdown, and that could be a huge factor if he gets that online for this retake. CNED now over towards Snowman. That's to find that. And this is the thing, that kill was actually huge because it brings it back to a 4v4, but we know how difficult it is to find something on the way back in on a retake with an operator. It becomes this crutch almost. Let's get a spot Rhyme crossing over. Doesn't lose his life, but
Spike planted.
Spike will go down in response.
And now the retake.
Here.
Viper's alive, Kriya's in position. It ain't feeling good.
Watching here.
Anything to deny it? I don't know. That could be the big denial. Not sure if it's going to work out. For now, it looks like a resounding no. Already down to just Starkso and Bone Call trying to play this back through. JD's lost out on this. And Starkso, not bad, okay. But now Kriya.
They're just got to wait out the utility.
I don't know if it's even... Oh, it did work. Oh dear, Kriya's found Bone Call, didn't get it halfway either. The wall went down early on, it was broken. And there it is. Well played by Kriya. Full faith in the utility to do its work, even after that wall came in. But confirmation from the teammates that were on the site. You always got to check this, especially if you know there's potentially a wall that could be thrown up against you. You know, Starkso could have maybe blocked that, but the wall was taken down by the teammates and Kriya was able to play that out perfectly. Well done.
I love that, though. But the setup for NIP is perfect. Both players, I think, was it Rhyme and Chihuahua or Jade? I can't even remember who the other one up, but taking contact there early on from Yellow makes sure that Kriya is unopposed for a longer amount of time, right? It gives that utility all the time in the world to do what it needs to. Really good stuff. Ooh,
a little lazy on those, you know, quite over the edge mid peaks. You're going to get punished. Bone Cold's in danger now, feeling pressure from up above. Too many angles. He could be in problem. Spike's now down. Interesting play through middle here. This is a bit of a different plan, bit of a different setup. Bone Cold unchecked on. That's a little bit of an issue. How's he gone unnoticed here? Able to get a couple of fights, and there you go. Killjoy ult invested.
That's a perfect ult, actually. It's going to force a lot of NRP out of these tricky spots. JD still finds one, though. Can't escape. Their Kriya with another lineup onto the Spike, so it's going to be really difficult. I mean, NRP just got to hold their ground for the time being. Keyless finds 2 kills in response, though. It's just Kriya standing once again.
Oh, this fight is so... That's so good. Fade away on scene at the time. He just has to play the time, and now he gets the confirmation. Keyless, you ain't on that Spike. You can get the kill, but I get the round. 7-0. NIP. Where was this team?
Wow. Again, coming into this map, one of the terms I use, pace change. That right there, fantastic stuff from NRP. And the setup is so good. So good. With that plant on the second level, of B site. Again, Kree, you can see he's got a lineup for it, but NIP again, they're able to just take these really weird fights when you consider what a retake onto B site looks like. Just those gunfights are so weird for Ascend to kind of try and dig NIP out of these spots.
I guess this is what can happen when teams get time to reinvent themselves a little. You know, this is a whole different looking team coming out from NIP when it comes to at least the agents they're playing, how they're approaching this. This isn't even their map choice, which is the crazy part. That's the mad part to me. If I'd just been working on this, I'd lean into it, but I guess technically they got 2 good maps for themselves then, regardless. Chihuahua to find Cold Menta. And it looks like business as usual, at least for the last 7 rounds, might just be carrying on.
And this is the thing. This agent composition doesn't really allow Ascend to do what we'd expect them to do right there. So they went for that push all the way deep in. Cold Menta gets picked up. I guess really a bit of frustration showing that they're trying to force the issue with this early round aggression. Lockdown going to get invested here by Chihuahua. Actually, CNED did try and get into the back corner of sight there, but going to be forced out by the spam.
Welcome to my world. 30 seconds left.
They've got this wrapped up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is...
Player standing.
What is this? Where has this team been? CNED, forced to be quiet, 23 HP. Up to 45, but found this is all-encompassing. And this is what I was kind of talking about it when we talk about the capabilities outside of Akukos. Now, everyone gets excited by him because he's one of these classic IGLs, they're a thinking man's team. But then there's so many other elements to this team. When I was talking about the likes of, you know, Party Parrots and some of these older rosters and, you know, where some of these players may have come from, some of the, you know, the young CIS players, young this and young that, some of these names that definitely turned heads, you think, okay, well, let's say they have a couple of looks, a couple of styles, a couple of maps where they do lean in a little bit more to that puggy roster. You put JD on the Jet, for example, you play a little bit fast and loose, you try and take those fights. Look at the difference this team looks like. And again, this is so hard to predict and read. Now, that's a good start for Ascend. Finding JD is perfect.
Hopefully, actually, initially to stop the bleeding, because it's an 8-round deficit as it stands for Ascend. And again, CNED not really able to find much success with the operator on ICEBOX, and Alright, gonna spot this push out from Ryan. I'm pretty sure he's heard it as well, so angle for CNED though, beautiful over the top. Bone Cold gonna find Kriya, find Chihuahua as well.
1 enemy
2
remaining.
kills over on, and actually Akukos gonna be the last man standing here, so Ascend looking like they might post their first round win. Akukos has been left up his sleeve here.
Hi, Pock. Have I told you about the 1v5?
No, you haven't. Please continue.
It wasn't this round, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you'd heard about it.
I'm not familiar, no.
Ah, it's quite the story. 8-1 is a story as well. NIP, 8 rounds to the good against Ascend is actually pretty mad. Like, they've come into this and looked so diligent. And this map was never meant to be theirs in the veto, right? Like, this is very much a solid Ascend map. Now, yes, you could argue this map does work well for teams that do nicely on the attack, but this wasn't something that we'd put with NIP as a favorable term, right? Previous to... How many rounds did they get on the attack when they played this last time?
0.
I know you're a stat man. How many?
0.
0. Yeah. So, again, you know, you get an idea of this. Now, this is what we talk about, and I think something that was very important that Shazam said recently, it's very hard to reinvent yourself when you're constantly playing, when you're in and out of tournaments. It's your job, right? And it's other teams' jobs to keep eyes on you, watch everything you do, get those anti-strats ready. Now, NIP maybe, you know, gone back to the lab and came up with something new, and this is looking phenomenal for them. This is only the first half, and it can all go away, but let's get excited for it while it's here.
But the big thing is, it's not just kind of like a, you know, swapping out one agent or one role change, right? It's a complete
stylistic, yeah,
complete change on the agent composition, and they're playing very differently, right? They're playing way more aggressive. They're you know, they're actually kind of dicing with death when you talk about the fact they're facing Ascend, because they're happy to take these early round 1v1s. And usually with Ascend, if you're if you find that 1v1, the way that's, yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I want to see if ACEND have the ability to kind of hit the brakes a little bit and get themselves locked in. These A takes have been solid up until this point. Let's see what this looks like though, because Bone Cold's right there. This is good. And look at the utility coming right back out. He's going to chase that. I'm pretty sure that's perfection until he ran out of bullets. And CNED caught in the middle of the open. That looked, he was kind of caught in the chaos, and Chihuahua
Oh, this is huge.
silently makes his way forward. At the same time, he did have support as well from Kriya, but Kriya got caught out by Starkso. But Chihuahua makes up for this and then some. Starkso now left in the 1v2, up to hand, and some tricky angles to play with.
It's difficult here if you can't swap out to a rifle. I don't expect NIP in this scenario in particular to give him an open peak. Well, we'll retrieve the spike. It does get planted. He's actually going to come on and try and challenge Rhyme there to greet him. Finds a headshot on NIP. 9-1 up here. A completely different look coming into ICEBOX. I mean, this is exactly what we want to see, right?
Spike down A.
Didn't want to see them kind of revert back to that slow start play style. It's looking explosive here for them. And I'll be honest, actually, look at it. The two notable kind of, role switches, JD and Kriya. Well, I say role, but Agent in particular. It's not them shining, it's the Kukos and Chihuahua.
That's kind of mad, is it? But again, Chihuahua is like this mad prospect as well. Like a lot of these players, again, when NIP kind of have this roster, all the attention gets put on the IGL, etc. But these guys have all been pretty wild. Like they're all specialists in their roles that they're currently not playing, which is the crazy part again. And they look good. So again, ultimate invested. This should clear a fair few players from the site, allow that progression. Now the flank is what I'm looking at, and the same can be said the rest of NIP. Their attention does suddenly turn, and they catch off Bone Cold. Now, there was another, that's CNED. He gets seen. Ooh, that's a nasty angle to be caught in on both sides. Wonder if they were considering backing away from this, or where they go now. JD has the opportunity to open up middle, but CNED is a problem.
Yeah, he's posted very deep, and this information, I mean, Starzo's still over towards B, kind of anticipating the possibility of mid presence here, but you can see how heavily they're leaning on towards A here. I'm surprised to not see one more move over. Ordamenta actually misses that one, and JD just going to creep up, finds both headshots. Keyless and Ordamenta fall.
That's just nasty work, isn't it? Now CNED's made it around, but by now the site's about to be taken, and the spike can go down. It is in the hands of the Kukos.
Spike planted.
CNED trying to clear as he goes. Try and find the angles that may contain some of these players. Starkso does alleviate the pressure from one. And Starkso finds a second. Now that's big work. Now CNED's gone unnoticed so far. They only know of where Starkso was. Now spotted. Now seen. Investment on the res, and now we go again. Is there any utility on killers that could do something? I'm not sure on this. Maybe just to try and get a body on the spike itself. Starkso trying to be the defensive line, but NIP. This is great stuff from them.
Yeah, the slow retake. I mean, playing right into NIP's hands. They have Kriya still up and Chihuahua on that really long lurk. He was playing all the way back in spawn when that sight hit came through. And again, it's just a perfect setup, right? ACEND have to come through and challenge Kriya playing so deep. And Chihuahua that entire time able to slip through mid and come back and punish from behind. Really, really good stuff, and 10-1. I mean, this is worlds apart from the expectation coming into this map. NIP absolutely stepping up to the plate on ICEBOX.
1000%. And aggression down middle, following this up. CNED, bye-bye, Chihuahua. There it is. Just the hit and run. Follows up the owl drone, real casual-like, and just absolutely decimates. Now, NIP, this is going to be a disruptive piece for them. Losing on Chihuahua is a little bit of a problem. I wouldn't say the biggest issue. If you lost out on maybe a Kukos or Kriya, they're the kind of, I guess, post-plant or kind of creators of space that if you lost out on, it can get tricky. But I want to see what they do with this now, because you can kind of sit back a little deeper here, see what they opt for. But again, great first pick. Considering the money's pretty poor for ACEND, they needed that.
Scanning ahead.
And actually, 3 members of ACEND going to lean over towards B, and P look as if they're gonna creep back over towards A. Actually, the Seeker's invested. This is big investment to sell the fake onto B side, but it's gonna keep 3 players there, and that's the important thing.
Oh, this is a big old debate. They got to know what's coming up now because you can see Cordamenta just hears the utility, sees it coming down. Kukos does find Bone Cold as well, so still doing damage on the other side of the map. This is a problem. Now Killa is in the middle of the smoke, gets found, and IP just bullying their way through. Oh, dearie me, and the timing. Let's see who gets it. Starkso trying to cut mid. Kukos already seems to have an idea of the possibility, but no. The shot for Starkso is sharp enough that he gets the job done. And now 2v2.
A big win. CNED slipping. Korea still has his utility though, and neither member of Ascend actually push in that direction to pressure it. So gotta go fast. Actually, seeing Ned potentially going to try and get in ahead of it. Will tank the first Hunter's Fury blow, but follow up going to come through. He does actually catch him in the corner there. It's already on a half stick though. Oh. Dazo got to slip away from that. Finds Rhyme first, and Korea now the last man standing. 5 bullets left. Yeah, not enough HP to stick it through there, and Korea will clean that one up. 11-1 in the first half of ICEBOX here.
Switching sides.
So, Hypok, bind. What do you think of that, man? What is this, man? What is this? This was just... what is... Okay, so... TLDR, NIP have turned up and just smashed the attacking side, which is weird considering they got nil points the last time they played this. And Ascend just never were able to stop it at all.
No, and honestly, I think the agent composition here, it leans away from what we want to see Ascend do, right? Yeah. There's no real kind of pop to their execution. I'm concerned now coming on to attack.
Give me that Reyna. Give me some of that. I mean, those flashes. Give me the Sky. I don't mind. I love that aggressive style. Sometimes you got to lean into it, I guess. But as it stands, let's see how it works out. Hypok, why don't you take this one?
You're going to see immediately they're going to wall up Ascend actually onto the backside of Boiler. That all kind of splitting off the left side of Kitchen. Might be able to isolate this kill onto Korea, but they've got to be quick about it here. Bit of a staggered push. CNED stays behind at the bottom of the tube, and Starzo there with a pinch. This is a fantastic setup from Ascend here. Complete map control, but as I said that, JD and Rhyme respond with 2 kills of their own.
Keep your eye on the HP though. It's a little bit of a concerning factor for Rhyme and JD, down to about 20. JD still finds value towards killers. That's impressive. Still be able to convert that kill brings... what is going on? A 1v1. Bone Cold. Still alive against Rhyme. Rhyme is pretty much a one-shot here. 20 HP. And Bone Cold probably the perfect person in the post-plant. Yeah. Keeps his cool, keeps calm, gets the first one on the board in the second half.
Beautiful pistol round. Again, the early mid-aggression. The Viper Wall splits off everything on the right side of the tube. CNED stays back to lurk in that position to catch off any rotations. Either down the tube or under the tube. But again, getting Boiler control is absolutely massive for the attacking team.
Yeet. Now towards middle. This is it looks like a no frills sort of round. It's go A. 5 of you go A. Now, there's some danger here, but CNED, he's fine. He's still trucking on. Rhyme does get killers on the way through, but the site is now there. So Spike can be planted. The last 2 players are the ones who are pushed up towards B long. It doesn't look like these sheriffs or the sheriff that remains will be able to achieve too much from this. Korea quietly playing this out.
Last player standing.
Think not enough. And Chihuahua now in a 1v4. And this should be the perfect beginning, I guess, for Ascend, assuming that they can convert the bonus here. I mean, they do have how many rifles? 1 and what, 2 bulldogs, I guess.
Yeah, and I think actually that's kind of like a forward play, so to say, to bring the Bulldogs into this. They can kind of play range a little better than having to rely on, getting up close and personal with Spectres. So really puts them in I guess the best possible position to take a kind of a more expected round, right? They haven't got to try and all out hit a site here. But as I say that, Ned looks as if he's going to go for some early mid control, get himself on top of Tube. Nobody there to greet him because it's 3 members of NIP down on B lane.
Killers is pressing W.
Yeah, they've completely split.
Oh, that's a dirty little plant, isn't it? Oh, I like that. All right. A little bit of a switch up here. This is the big one, though. They've got to win this bonus round. If you want to see ACEND build back in, it's got to be kind of flawless. We set the bar high for this. It's not easy to do. And already seen, Ed's going to do well to find Rhyme. Now keep your eyes on those rifles, if any of them filter back through. Killer's got himself one and seen Ed as well, so they're your 2 heavy hitters. As it stands, you're still looking at NIP to try and find that way back in. These picks are not being offered up for free. They're still quite tricky, and Killer's going to find the Kukos. Trade comes out. There goes Killer's going down, and now you're going to be just down towards Chihuahua. Left in a 1v3. That's going to be the first, but now you look at this. Time being born the spike. You might as well back away.
Another beautiful execution, just so well thought out.
Yeah.
Again, these plants are so tricky on B because the fact that they're able to reset back and play these almost kind of like tunnel angles, right? It's all filtering NIP into these bottleneck scenarios. Really, really well thought out execution there. And actually kind of mirroring what we saw from NIP. They had a really nice execution on with that plant on the second level of B site. Again, Chihuahua using, sorry, not Chihuahua, Keeler's using his utility early enough. Both those nano swarms kind of getting off those first potential taps on the spike. So ACEND off to a good start here, but there's a long way to go.
It has to keep going. Yeah, no, it can't stop. I do like seeing the map being divided in new ways. You know, those same default plants are pretty unfavorable, honestly. It's very tricky to make work, so it's nice seeing kind of new ways to do it. It's really, really quite interesting. Now, at this round, look at the money. Chihuahua, yes, still has that rifle he saved last round. Now, that's a favorable angle for Kriya. Yeah, gonna find Bone Cold. That could be a gun recovered. JD's there to try and help out, it looks like. Up and over. Kind of keep that Blade Storm working in the right direction. And look how quickly he's clearing this.
Yeah.
That's big information because it's just... Chihuahua, get ready. You're about to have a boatload of players coming your way. Steps heard, here we go. Tries to get on the early fight. That's really good. The read's really good for a second. Chihuahua, perfect play to buy time on the rotation too. This is everything you could have wanted. Coldamenta now paranoid about the back, and he's right to be as such. And look at this, Spike can come down, but Kriya finds CNED. And now Coldamenta left in a 1v3. Finds the first, he went clutch in the last couple of... Yeah, maybe. There's a chance still on this one for him.
30 seconds
Ooh,
left.
look at this though. NIP immediately hitting that rotate. They're going to potentially catch an angle here depending on where Coldamenta decides to plant. It's outside the ground floor. JD hopping up on top. He's going to hear that. He's got to find this kill though. Is Kriya opting not to face with him? Now the wall goes up and Kriya cleep. Ooh, if the wall drops now. Oh my God, Kriya missed the first shot. We didn't see it, but I heard it there. And that's the thing. I mean, Coldamenta has to find that second player there to have a chance. There's no point in facing back onto JD.
Yeah.
Taking the 1v1.
Match point.
Really good recovery from NIP, honestly. Again, in that scenario, even if Chihuahua finds one kill here, it's massive. But the fact he doubles down, finds Starzo, it just makes the trade as difficult as possible for ACEND.
But 12-4. Are we going to see a mirrored scoreline, but the other way around?
Wouldn't that be poetic?
It honestly may just be.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best possible chance that, yeah, we can talk about ultimates here with an 8-round deficit. It doesn't really matter because they have to get back onto another ultimate cycle. But Bone Cold, Starzo, CNED all got theirs away. Keyless 2 away from the lockdown. Coldamenta 1 off the Hunter's Fury. So this is a big round. The side of NIP, Kriya 1 away from his, Akukos 1 away, Hunter's Fury and Lockdown available for NIP. But yeah, NIP on the brink of really closing this one out already. Taking it to the third.
The third would be Bind. Still a chance of a comeback, just The comeback starts when you get to double digits, or at least 9, I'd say. 9 or 10 rounds. Just the way the economy works, it generally seems to sit towards that. If you get there, then yeah, we'll have a chat. We'll have a little chat about it. Till that point, NIP just need to kind of cruise. And just, you know, if the Ascend make a single mistake, it's over and done with, and map 3 gets unlocked. And here we go. Chihuahua, not the start you'd want, but he has his ultimate, so that can deny. Coupled with Rhymes as well. Quite interesting to see that both happening at the same time. Maybe not exactly what he wanted, but this will at least cost them a couple more seconds and buy time for those rotations.
Zenid was hanging around really late to try and find a kill there, and yeah, you're right. The lockdown and the Hunter's Fury, fairly preemptive. Or dare I say premature. I thought JD creeping. Bone Cold didn't spot the rifle, and actually JD didn't spot Bone Cold crossing either. This is going to be terrible. If he can find the kill, he's going to spot the barrel. He can find Chihuahua for free here.
That's 1. Bone Cold, that's 2. And now there's problems everywhere. Bone Cold can just try and fade away into the night, but Rhyme does find Killers in the meantime, and they even instantly back up. Bone Cold and Killers both go down, and all that advantage fades away to nothing. There's now the spike ticks away. Starkso finds one. The trade's excellent. Really well done there. Just finding right back in. Just never letting that second come through. And they find another step. 3 alive, 3 guns kept over. They're doing what they need to. It's not clean, but it's what's necessary.
Yeah, and again, in this scenario, finding the same. There's got so many things to transfer back and forth, but finds a Kukos as well from that position. Actually, the setup really good. Once again, the whole time that happens, they're able to, Starzo is able to get that wall down on default, and it has the time to reinforce. It draws the attention away from it just long enough for them able to set up.
Okay, money's now broken. Sheriff and Marshal coming to town. Did fancy some Red Dead later. Why not play it now? Coldamenta going to be clearing through. Quite meticulous in approach. Nothing noted yet. Full of shots, but keep in mind this is all a bit of bait. That Spike is definitely looking towards B, but the Kukos is here.
Actually, Coldamenta and JD will find kills over on the other side of the map, and of course Coldamenta down to 48 HP. He's got to back away from this. He can't stop JD from pushing any further, and that's going to give some vital information over to NIP. Kukos land a headshot. Keyleth falls here. Zenid just creeping, trying to trade that. Starzo involved. Actually, investor revive here, but a lot coming out. Invested. Lockdown goes down for Ascend as well. Should negate some of that Viper Spit that's been invested on site.
They get back into this for NIP. It's now one player does get caught by this. Zenid still found a Kukos. JD slowly but surely creeping in, but the angle's better for Coldamenta. This is a shutdown. It looks like Ascend will be looking towards their 6th. This keeps going this way. Kriya and Chihuahua. Oh, no chance. No chance at all.
Yeah, just so much to deal with there. And
yeah,
honestly, could have gone either way. Once the Viper's bit gets him invested, like I said, the lockdown kind of counters that. It gives site control right back over to Ascend. They just have to wait out the clock there. Nobody able to prevent the spike from going down. Nice execution. Oh, they're halfway there. It's 12-6 now. I'm so glad you followed up on that.
Really good at matching tone as well.
Yeah.
Perfect, I think. But they are indeed halfway there. They just need 6 more rounds. Easy, right? Right. Money is back in play, though. Up V up. Gotta get out of there. Ultimate now invested as well from Coldamenta, trying to force them away, allow progress to be made by the rest of the boys. And in we go. Bone Cold not going to mess around on this, but JD just shotguns Bone Cold to the chest with that up, just up close at this point now. All of these utilities thrown down, but look at Rhyme just catching Starkso on the way out. This is looking like it could be wrapped up here. Who do we have left? Coldamenta, Zenid, Killers, and Killers doubling down, and this is massive again. Coldamenta finds JD. They're desperate to hold on here. They do not want this to slip away. And there we go. Zenid finds Chihuahua and Kriya. Oh, he's a little far off from this, isn't he?
I think Korea was considering coming all the way back towards defensive spawn and maybe flanking belt, but it was on the minimap. It looked like there was kind of 5 seconds of hesitation. He didn't know which way to go, and then a couple of kills came through, and at that point, he's kind of lost in the flank. No opportunity to find a way back into sight, and Ascend will keep 3 up.
Toxin screen down.
They will post their 7th.
Okay, hold on. Chat, do you believe in the comeback? Yes? No. Simple. That's it. Do you believe in the comeback? Is it happening? Do you want me to go all in? Do we start believing now? Do we sell this now? Because look, their money's broken on NIP, right? Like, look, I'm going to sell you on this, all right? I want you guys to get over-invested. The money tatters. You got sheriffs. You got nothing. They're trying to keep that money for those later rounds. They're starting to feel that little bit of nerves. Like, oh, guys, it's only 1 round, but that 1 round. It's elusive. And look, Ascend's money's pretty decent. They've got enough to get whatever they fancy, all the goodies. Go to the shop, get all the pick and mix. Lovely. What's your favourite item out of a pick and mix?
Fizzy worms, obviously.
Nice.
I question that. What's yours?
Look, I go for like 2. I like a little bit of, the chocolate buttons were delicious. With the weird little sprinkles on top. You know what I mean? What? And maybe a fizzy cola bottle.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with it. Alright, it's game on. 12-7. Let's have a look here. This should be 12-8. Sure.
We're going to try and, I guess, be the solo with that rifle. Hold down B. Now that he's shown it, he's actually going to back away. Ascend not force their way on and try and punish this one. Again, they've got to read that this isn't going to be a fantastic buy. JD actually invested in the Blade Storm here, so they have the tools on either side. So JD didn't spot that barrel. Oh my god, Bone Cold actually slips right underneath him, finds that kill onto Rhyme.
Why is this all so dicey? This all feels so dicey. Okay. So, rifle and ultimate. JD's got his ult out. Korea's got the rifle. They're your danger men for now. And they're both going towards the right site as it stands. Korea. He's in the back lines. Sees nothing for now.
Poison's off.
You can see JD just kind of leaning between the two. That utility gives away the game, and it gives away Bone Cold as well. Here we go. JD looks for an opportunity, doesn't find one. Ascend now down to 4 against the 4. Starks are trying to get this plant, and he does. Okay, and they still stand. There's no more instant threats. They do have B on control. The Viper Wall dividing the site. This isn't over yet.
There's a scene there. We'll actually find Chihuahua here on the way in. Coldamenta. JD as well. So, Zen just finding these kills one by one here on NIP. Not able to close the distance, unfortunately. Make the most of this lesser equipment. Okay, they nearly actually lined up versus the sheriff.
We don't love that. We get a little nervous. Okay. Here we go. Ladies and gents, we're getting close. We're almost there. We're almost there. Now, here's the next danger round, right? It's the up and down. It's the up and down of the broken economy. They're back on the guns. They're back off the guns. And there is a moment you're like, but it's fine. Full rifles galore. We do have Rhyme's ultimate. No one else is that close. I guess halfway. Chihuahua around the same. And on the other side, we do have Bone Colds. This is the big one. This is where you got to find out if they've got it in them to keep closing this Ascend. This is tough though. You know, not a single mistake. You cannot falter.
No. And you're right. This is the one really you look towards, because this is the momentum builder. A couple of these ultimates come online and Ascend can lean back on a few more of those structured executions. Rhyme considering the Hunter's Fury there, but last time we did say was a little preemptive. Yeah, a couple of shots going to get traded back and forwards, and there you go. The Hunter's Fury does get invested. Finds one tag. Yeah, Bone Cold managed to slip away from the second, though.
Okay. This is teetering on a knife's edge. You can feel the intensity. Spike was toyed with for a second then, but it didn't quite make it all the way down. It looks like they're holding for an opportunity of a pick, and there it is. They find it. JD dies to CNED. Great start. Ultimate invested. And Kukos can't ignore it, has to play into it and finds a player you'd want, Bone Cold. And now they're in the open, and suddenly there's threats everywhere. Korea and Chihuahua called upon now in a 2v3 to deny the comeback, to stop him before it starts, but CNED, he wants this, and he's gonna get it.
He hops up top and finds the fourth as well. Fantastic stuff from him. And right there, I mean, the same execution is going to come out right. This Sage Wall immediately punished, but Akukos finds the most important kill there to give NIP a chance to kind of get that retake. Well, not even retake, really. Actually, the push back on the spike hadn't even gone down yet. But right there, Bone Cold, perfect timing to throw down his ultimate. Make sure they can reinforce their position, get some site control back. But CNED just popping once again. 4 massive kills. Send on the brink of double digits.
This is when you start getting sweaty, isn't it? You're like, nah, you don't stress it until they get 10. And they about to get 10.
I'm stressing. I'm stressing now.
I'm stressing.
But look at it again, momentum builder right now. Bone Cold's ultimate's invested. Keyless 2 away from the lockdown. Coldamenta 1 off the Hunter's Fury. Again, you got to expect them to close this round out. Those ultimates come online, and that's massive for Ascend.
Toxins going up.
NIP. We go. Right place. Couple of the right players. Good trade for CNED there. Denying Bone Cold going too hard on this one. Excuse me, Chihuahua going too far into this one. Akukos getting spammed out here, but actually maintaining health and maintains the angle. And now there's problems. It's a 4v3. CNED's still alive and getting a little overwhelmed here. They can back away. They don't know this yet. They will have to probably toy with that soon. A bit of a stack out, but look who's watching the flank. Rhyme's already considering this. Puts himself towards middle, and they now have to hit the brakes for a second and allow a pick to come through from somewhere.
30 seconds left.
Starzo no wall. It still has some smokes, but yeah, Coldamenta actually going to open things up once again. Here you go, the challenge comes through. Starzo actually going to swing out. Korea falls JD.
2v2. Tit for tat. And has
14
Rhyme gone on no... Okay, the res comes in. I thought that angle was right for JD. I thought he had it for a second. No, Rhyme now left, and it does not matter. Starkso to keep this one in check, investing the rest to CNED, gets that up back up. We are at double digits. We might have the comeback on our hands. Suddenly, this goes from just a fun conversation to the real deal, and this is where the sweat's on the brow for NIP. You're starting to get a little uncomfortable. Nothing's quite working, and CNED's doing weird CNED things, and you don't know how to stop it. This is where it all gets a bit sketchy. And look at that money, man. They'll never be without a gun. Yeah. They can keep that wealth now.
This is the thing. Yes, they can't lose around, but the fact that they can play trades, they can. It doesn't matter if they keep 1 alive or 4 alive. The money's in such a situation where they can ride the economy out. And really, I mean, for the attacking team, that plays in their favor, right? If they just always try and find these 3v2s, 4v2s onto one site, it plays into their ball, honestly.
Enemy mark.
Okay, go again. First tag found. That's CNED now getting a little bit of pressure. Spot set, there's 3 players here. Now that's a bit of a dirty angle. JD being played away in the corner. Good trade for Killers to allow that to not go unanswered. But they did take down the heavy hitter. CNED's now gone, so it's a 4v4, but without CNED.
Nowhere to run.
Hunter's Fury actually... Yeah, invested by Coldamenta to shut down Chihuahua's lockdown. Actually going to get a tag as well. Akukos caught out on site after he finds a kill.
Watching here.
But Keyless lockdown doesn't grant them site control. He will now get the wall down. He's trying to spam through Rhyme. Can't break it to stop the spike. Now Ascend will have an opportunity to play the post plant here with no utility though. Look at the right side of the screen. This is all guns.
Kriya's got a little, but it ain't much. Rhyme's back on it. Here we go. See if he gets anything for this. Okay, bit of information on Killers. That's not bad. Chihuahua, first to touch. Spots out 1, forces the fight. Killers here. Looking for the fight, and it's NIP to find 2, and it's suddenly... Wait, Starkso's on the flank. He's given nothing away yet. Diffuse is going to make it to halfway right about now. They know nothing. It's going to be a surprise. Oh, he's gone down! I thought he might have just had the timing on it, but it just gets ripped away. The comeback's halted. NIP unrelenting in the end.